Okay, I'll do one more Skyrim mead. I got a ton of requests for the Juniper berry mead, and I can't resist giving my followers what they're looking for. Since Vlad's no longer with us, all we can really do now is make our own mead with the juniper berries mixed in. So just like with the last recipe, I added some warm water to help dissolve the honey. And fermento is my favorite yeast nutrient, which is an organic source of nitrogen. Shaking it up to add some oxygen. 27 bricks, so just like our blackbriar mead, this is going to be semi-sweet. I doubled the recipe because if you're going to make a half gallon, you might as well make a gallon. I did only add half of the juniper berries, and I didn't crush them because they can be overpowering, and I can always add them later. However, I did add extra hibiscus because I love hibiscus and it's hard to overdo it. I like to rehydrate my yeast with Go Firm, and of course Voskavike with this one as well. Let that sit for 15 minutes. And that'll give you some time to take care of unfinished business. Once you're done making the world a better place, you can dump in the yeast, throw in a lid with a sanitized airlock. I'm fermenting this one at about 74 degrees. Skyrim mead update. Our blackbriar mead is finished fermenting. That's been finished for a few days. Our juniper berry is still going. I'm going to wait to rack these to a secondary until they're both finished. I'm going to rack them to a secondary so that I can get a clearer product. You can rack it straight to bottles from here, but I like it to be a bit clearer. I am going to go straight to bottles on my Joe's Ancient Orange, which I just recorded a video on, and hopefully should post that one soon. Someone asked me if you could stir this up as it's fermenting, and you absolutely can. Just give it a swirl. And that's going to really help with fermentation. It's going to pull up some of the yeast that's sitting on the bottom doing nothing, and it'll clean things up. Get rid of some of that CO2, which is toxic to yeast. I'll even do that on the finished stuff. And you don't need to worry about oxidation when you do this. All the oxygen has been depleted out of the mead in the first day or so. The headspace has no more oxygen left in it. There's been CO2 being created that's displacing all the oxygen and kicking it out the airlocks. The Skyrim meads are done fermenting and ready to be bottled or transferred into a secondary fermenter. For those just joining us, these are two recipes found in the Elder Scrolls Cookbook. You could transfer these straight to a bottle if you'd like. Most of the time I like to transfer my mead to a secondary, let it sit there for a bit to clarify. Secondary is also a good place to add additional ingredients if you don't like how it tastes. I'm going to add a half an ounce of French oak chips to each of these. I usually use cubes, but chips extract faster. And I've got a gaming weekend coming up, so I'm not going to have these sitting too long. The blackbriar fermented bone dry. That's because I didn't factor in the juice from the blackberries. When you add fruit, you need to factor in how much the juice is going to drop the original gravity. These are fermented starting about 2.5 weeks ago. I'm going to give these a taste and see how we're doing so far. Yeah, the blackbriar definitely tastes super dry, subtle, cinnamon. Honestly tastes like it's missing something. Yeah, the juniper berry is really good. That's much better. Skyrim mead update. This is the juniper berry mead recipe from the official Skyrim Cookbook. Besides honey, we got juniper berries, yarrow, and hibiscus. It's been about 6 months since I made this. It's got a little bit of fizz to it, which is unexpected but nice. This is semi-sweet with a moderate level of alcohol. Oh man, this one just keeps getting better. Those 3 ingredients just pull together so nicely. I might have to make a giant batch of this.